is just the setup. You want to always work to get here. Because you get here, and you close the difference, you're going to win. But 9 times out of 10 you get here, even when I work power moves, I ain't just going bull here. I'm working boom to the back of this pad to get them away from me.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm working boom, 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 to get to the back of this pad and get away from me. Okay. This is what my coach taught me. So slow becomes smooth and smooth becomes fast. So you walk through things, boom, walk it through, right?
Yeah.
You get a rhythm with it, and then you can speed up, right? A little faster, and then you go full speed. Muscle memory. Close your eyes. There you go. It's better than others. I'm digging this into you. Help me bend my hips. Right? I ain't just going ripping like this.
Yeah.
I'm ripping the hair to bend my hips.
The video of Jaquan Brisker working with Aaron Donald is not just some random offseason clip where 2 NFL players are standing around doing bag drills for social media. This is one of the most technically dominant defensive players in the history of football, showing a safety how to rush the passer, use his hands, control leverage, and finish through contact. That is exactly why this is so interesting for Pittsburgh, because Brisker has already shown that getting after the quarterback is one of the most dangerous parts of his game. He has 7 career sacks as a defensive back, and that is not normal production from the safety position. He already has the aggression, the timing, and the willingness to come downhill and attack the backfield. Now, you are pairing those natural traits with Aaron Donald's technique, and that can turn a good blitzer into a real problem. Donald was never just running through people because he was stronger than everybody else. He understood angles, hand placement, balance, leverage, and how to attack one side of a blocker before that blocker could get set. Those little details are what separate a pressure from a sack, and they are especially valuable for a safety because Brisker is not going to win every rep by simply overpowering a running back or tight end. He has to get there clean, stay compact, and avoid getting swallowed up once somebody steps into the gap. That is what Donald can teach him. Pittsburgh already has edge rushers who force protection to widen, defensive linemen who can collapse the middle, and linebackers who can create confusion. If Brisker becomes more polished as a blitzer, the offense suddenly has one more threat it has to account for before the snap. The quarterback sees him 12 yards deep and thinks he is playing coverage. Then he creeps toward the line, times the snap, and attacks the open lane before the protection can adjust. Or he walks up into the box, looks like he is coming, forces the quarterback to change the protection, and then drops back into coverage. That is where this starts becoming more than just a cool workout. It gives the Steelers another player who can manipulate the offense without even touching the football. Brisker has always played with an edge. He is physical, he is aggressive, and he likes being involved near the line of scrimmage. The question has never been whether he is willing to hit somebody. The question is whether Pittsburgh can take that mentality and make it more controlled, more efficient, and more difficult for offenses to read. Working with Donald is one of the best ways to do that. You are taking a player who already has legitimate production as a blitzer and giving him access to the best possible teacher for defeating blocks. That does not mean he is suddenly going to become a 10-sack safety, but it can absolutely help him turn a few missed pressures into real impact plays. And when you already have TJ Watt, Nick Herbig, Alex Highsmith, and a defensive front that can create pressure from multiple spots, even 2 or 3 extra sacks from Brisker can completely change games. Those are drive-killing plays, third down stops, and moments where the quarterback has no idea where the pressure came from. This video is exciting because it shows Pittsburgh might not view Brisker as just another safety. They may see him as a movable weapon, and Aaron Donald is helping sharpen the exact part of his game that could make him special in this defense. And the part I like most is that this is not asking him to become a completely different player. Pittsburgh would be building on something he has already done successfully in real games. He has already timed blitzes, chased quarterbacks, and finished plays behind the line. Donald's instruction can clean up the wasted movement and make those reps more repeatable. A safety who can arrive fast is useful. A safety who can arrive fast and defeat the blocker waiting for him is a weapon. That is the version of Brisker the Steelers could be trying to unlock. The biggest reason Jaquan Brisker can become such an important piece for the Steelers is because he gives them something every modern defense wants. A player who can line up in multiple spots and make the quarterback hesitate before the ball is snapped. Pittsburgh does not need him to sit 20 yards deep all afternoon and play like a traditional center fielder. They can use him in the box, walk him down over a tight end, send him off the edge, bring him through the A-gap, or have him bluff pressure and rotate back into coverage. That versatility becomes even more dangerous. If the pass rush works work with Aaron Donald carries over, because now the offense cannot just treat him like a safety who might blitz every once in a while. They have to treat him like a legitimate pressure threat. There's a huge difference between a defensive back being sent on a free run and a defensive back who actually knows how to beat the protection. When somebody picks him up, Donald can help him with the second part. If a running back steps up, Brisker needs to know how to attack the blocker's leverage, keep his chest clean, and get through without losing speed. If a tight end chips him, he has to be able to use his hands and stay on his path. Those are the details that can make him more than a gimmick, and once he proves he can win those reps, everything else in the defense gets easier. The Steelers can show pressure from one side, force the offensive line to slide, then bring Brisker from somewhere else. They can create overloaded looks where the quarterback has to guess who is coming and who is dropping. They can use him as the player who closes space on mobile quarterbacks when the pocket starts breaking down. That is especially valuable because quarterbacks are becoming harder to defend every year. You cannot just rush forward, sit back, and hope the quarterback stays in the pocket. You need athletes who can attack from depth, change direction, and finish in space. Brisker can do that. He has the size to play physically, the speed to close, and the mentality to throw his body into the play. He also has enough experience to understand how offenses are trying to manipulate him. This is not some rookie learning where to stand. He has started every NFL game he has played in, has more than 300 career tackles, has created turnovers, and has already been trusted with major responsibilities. Pittsburgh is getting a player who has seen real NFL football and is now adding another layer to his game. That is what makes the fit so exciting. The Steelers have always been at their best when the defense has players who do not fit neatly into one category. Troy Polamalu could line up deep, attack the line, cover, blitz, and completely ruin the offense's plan. Brisker is not Troy, and nobody should put that expectation on him, but the concept is similar. A safety becomes far more valuable when the offense cannot figure out what he is doing before the snap. If Brisker can pressure the quarterback, stop the run, and still hold up in coverage, Pittsburgh can disguise everything around him. One snap, he is the blitzer. The next snap, he is the player replacing a linebacker in coverage. Then he is dropping into a robber role and waiting for the quarterback to make a mistake. That kind of movement creates hesitation, and hesitation is exactly what a pass rush wants. Half a second can be the difference between a completed pass and Watt or Herbert getting home. So when you see Brisker working with Aaron Donald, the excitement is not only about him collecting more sacks, it is about what those new tools could unlock for the entire defense. More dangerous, Brisker makes the fronts harder to identify, the protections harder to set, and the quarterbacks less comfortable from the first snap to the last. It also gives the staff flexibility from week to week. He can attack the run against one opponent, then become a delayed blitzer against another. The role changes without replacing the player. There is also a personal side to this for Jaquan Brisker, because this season could completely reshape the way the league views him. He is on a one-year deal, he has dealt with injuries, and he is now entering a situation where he has to prove he can stay on the field and still be the physical, disruptive safety people saw earlier in his career. That is why seeing him work with Aaron Donald is such a strong sign. He is not approaching this opportunity like a player who is satisfied just being on another roster. He is trying to add something to his game that can separate him from every other veteran safety fighting for snaps and another contract. Brisker already has a respectable resume. He has hundreds of tackles, interceptions, forced fumbles, passes defended, and 7 sacks. He has shown he can play around the ball and create chaos, but the NFL moves quickly, and one injury-plagued stretch can change how teams talk about a player. Pittsburgh gives him a chance to reset that conversation. If he stays healthy, plays with the same violence, and becomes a more technically refined blitzer, he can go from being viewed as a gamble to being viewed as one of the smartest additions of the offseason. The Steelers do not need him to carry the defense. They already have star power. What they need is another player who can punish offenses for focusing too much attention on everybody else. If protections are sliding toward Watt, if backs are checking the edge, if the quarterback is worried about the interior rush, Brisker can be the player who comes free and destroys the play. That is the perfect role for a safety with his personality. He plays like he wants to be involved in everything. He wants to hit, he wants to attack, and he wants to make the offense feel him. Aaron Donald can help channel that aggression so it becomes more precise. Instead of flying into the backfield and getting picked up, he can learn how to set up the blocker. Instead of relying on one burst, he can develop counters. Instead of getting stuck when the first lane closes, he can use his hands and keep the rep alive. Those are the changes that can extend a career. They also fit the identity Pittsburgh wants on defense. The Steelers have always valued defensive backs who are willing to tackle, play in the box, and contribute beyond coverage. Brisker brings that naturally. He is not a finesse player trying to become physical. He already has the mentality. Pittsburgh just has to keep him healthy and put him in situations where his aggression becomes an advantage instead of something offenses can use against him. That is why this might be the perfect place for him. He does not have to pretend to be somebody else. He can be the enforcer, the extra blitzer, the player rotating down late, and the guy offenses have to locate before every snap. And if this year goes well, he could earn far more than a rotational role. He could earn a long-term future in Pittsburgh. One strong season in this defense can rebuild his value around the league, but it can also convince the Steelers that they found a player who belongs next to their young core. That is what is on the line, and Brisker appears to understand it. Players who are comfortable do not spend the offseason learning pass rush technique from Aaron Donald. Players who are hungry do. This is not proof that he is going to dominate, but it is proof that he is attacking the opportunity the right way. He is working on the part of his game that can make him different, and he is learning from the best person imaginable. If that work translates, Pittsburgh could have a safety who hits like a linebacker, moves like a defensive back, and rushes the passer with real technique. That is a dangerous combination, and it could make Brisker one of the biggest surprises on the entire Steelers defense this season. This is his chance to turn a prove-it deal into a comeback season, stay healthy, play under control, and make quarterbacks pay whenever Pittsburgh sends him.